Welcome to NBA Weekly with your host, Dtlf.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Dtlf back with another video. Guys, welcome to my brand new show, NBA Weekly. Every Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where I will be covering all NBA teams, all NBA news, everything that has happened the previous week and what's yet to come. Power ranking, standings, trade rumors, you got it. Anything and everything goes. Any questions you guys have will be answered on this show. And hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. If you are, please hit the like button, subscribe if you already haven't. But let's get this show on the way because we got a lot to talk about, man. And again, every Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific, we'll be dropping NBA Weekly. So make sure you guys tap in. But first and foremost, I want to tap in with the Lakers because according to Dan Wokey of the LA Times, there will be no player-led mini camp for the Lakers this year. Players are already in the facility and back in action. So pretty much, yeah, there's zero NBA player, should I say, what do they call that when it's players only and they work out and all that together to try to build up the chemistry? Well, yeah, there's none of that this season. And I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that because me personally, I feel like they're doing it out of respect for their brand new head coach, JJ Redick. And actually, I think this is a good sign, the fact that they trust the coaching staff in order to bring everybody together, and it already shows that they're all falling in line. So I actually like this. Usually when this happens, players only, it means that, you got a head coach on the floor, which is usually LeBron. So, yeah, there is that. Hey, what's up, Craig? What's up, Juan? What's up, Striker? Good to see you all. Welcome to the brand new segment. But, yeah, as far as that goes, I wouldn't think too much into it. Again, it is just I think LeBron pretty much trusts JJ Redick and his coaching staff, and that's exactly what's about to go down, man. They're about to, they are pretty much about to do the whole training camp together. Mind you, Rob Pelinka is about to give his entire press conference on the 25th. So that's in 2 days. I will be breaking that down and covering it, and so I look forward to that. Now, talk about training camp. I got another Laker update to you before we get into all the NBA stuff, and that is LeBron and Bronny. They already had their first Laker practice together, right? And this is according to Gojo and Golick. So pretty much this is what LeBron had to say about practicing with Bronny James for the first time in the NBA. He said, and I quote, he said, "This week we got back into the gym, and it was really the first time that me and Bronny were on the floor as professionals training, going against each other, preparing for the season. And there were a couple of moments where I kind of just lost focus, and he says, and I'm not used to losing focus when I'm out there on the floor. It's going to be an unbelievable year for myself, and I hope for himself as well." So there you have it, man. LeBron James embracing Bronny already. He's distracted, unfortunately, early on, but that's okay. It's going to happen. I mean, you got your son out there running with you, on the NBA court. Is bound to happen, guys. I don't think this is a big issue, although there is rumors. And I don't really, I'm impartial to the rumors, but supposedly they're trying to get, and I talked about this the other night, LeBron and Bronny on the court out of the way as quickly as possible, maybe even as soon as the first game of the NBA regular season. So what do you guys think of all of this? Do you guys think Bronny's going to be a distraction for the locker room for LeBron James, or you think it's actually going to motivate him and propel him forward? Because, I mean, it could go either way. I'm thinking the motivation side. I think LeBron's about to have one of them show-off type seasons where he just goes off, even though he's in year 22, and go crazy with it. What do you guys think, though? I'll read a couple of comments, and let's see. Got a super chat.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Thank you so much, my brother. He said, "This has honestly been the longest offseason ever." Yes, it has, man. Yes, it has, brother. And thank you again so much for a super chat. I've been having so much time on my hands. I came up with a brand new segment, man, and looking for ways to improve the channel. So hopefully you guys like NBA Weekly. It's going to stick. It's going to be all year round, 365 days a year. And, and during the summer as well, we're going to be doing NBA Weekly whenever there's news and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, let's see here. I'll answer a couple questions and comments. My guy said, will James and AD have any playing time in preseason? The answer to your question is most likely yes. But it might not come till after like the first 2 or 3 games already happened. So they might play the last couple of ones, and they might go only for one half. It might start one quarter, one half, and then the full game as the season progresses, right? So yes, I do believe I'm like 99% sure they're going to play at least a couple of games in the preseason. Great question, by the way. Do you think McGee is an option? No, I do not believe JaVale McGee is an option. He's getting older. His asthma has always been a big issue for for teams. He only plays a limited amount of minutes. So I don't think JaVale McGee will actually be a viable option. I think the Lakers can do a better job of maybe trading for another big, a backup big, or just trying out guys like Christian Coloco. And since they held on to their two big man, the two-way players, they can give them both a shot maybe early in the season. Well, it's going to be interesting to see in preseason if those guys even get opportunities and stuff like that. But we'll go from there. Yeah, JaVale's in shape, but he can only play 10 to 15 minutes, even when he was with us. So you need to have another backup big man that's a bruiser as well, and that's why we had Dwight Howard. So you would have to get 2 big men, and we have limited roster slots. So the next big man we get, hopefully, is somebody who can actually, give us 110% at all times. And if we need to play him 25 to 30 minutes because somebody got in foul trouble or due to injury, then so be it. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This is NBA Weekly with yours truly, man. Man, I'm so excited for this show. All right, the Memphis Grizzlies are waiving former NBA MVP Derrick Rose, according to The Athletic and Shams Charania. So, yeah, they're waiving this, man. This kind of came out of left field because, remember, last year they acquired him in order for him to mentor young guys like Ja Morant. So what could this mean for the Memphis Grizzlies? Looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, they got a big season coming up. They're coming off of basically back-to-back, bad seasons, one due to injury and one due to suspension to Ja Morant. And it's very unfortunate, man, that it has happened, but because they're a very young, athletic, exciting team, and Ja Morant was one of the most premier players in the league. Some even had deemed them the future face of the league, I think prematurely, right? And so, now he's coming back from injury. We'll see how he is. But they waived Derrick Rose, and I think Derrick Rose will be a nice fit on a lot of teams. I'm very curious to see if he goes back to play for the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, or if he's just looking for a completely different roster. Like, I'm super curious about Derrick Rose. Where do you guys think Derrick Rose would fit in nicely? I would usually say the Lakers. We could always use a backup point guard veteran. However, the Lakers have 101 point guards, and we have absolutely no room for a Derrick Rose type point guard, in my opinion. But, all in all, I'm pretty sure he'll find a place somewhere. I mean, he goes from Memphis to where? As long as it ain't Boston or the Clippers, I'd be okay with it. That's just me personally. Where would you guys like to see Derrick Rose? That's the real question. And hopefully, he lands on his feet, man, because I'm a big fan of D Rose. He's one of the most humble, exciting players to watch in this league. All right, moving on. We got some positive news here on one of the legends, one of the icons, one of my favorite personal players in the game, ex-Toronto Raptor, ex-New Jersey Net, and ironically, ex-Memphis Grizzly, Vince Carter. All right, he's going to get 2 jersey retirement ceremonies during this season. Very exciting. I'm happy for him. I think it's well-deserved. The Raptors will retire Vince Carter's number 15, and the Nets will as well. So, the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors are retiring his jersey. Do you guys think it is deserved? That is the question for that topic conversation. I'll be going back to the previous topics as well if I missed any here. We do have too many cards. In regards to Derrick Rose, but I like the guy. I hope somebody decent gives him an opportunity. Knicks for a backup for Derrick Rose would be elite. I would love to see that. A Knicks backup point guard would be nice, and I definitely like, what he brings to the table as a veteran. I mean, he might not have a lot left in the tank, but he's definitely a great guide and a very humble player who has been there and done that. Obviously, the youngest MVP in the league ever. So younger guys have to look up to him. I don't know if they do, but they should, because Derrick Rose at one point was a very brief moment, was one of the faces of the league before he started getting injured. So, I can see somebody picking him up, if anything, just to be a veteran leader off the bench and maybe give you some spot minutes here and there. Do I want Rose on the team? Great question. No, not as we're constructed right now. We have way too many guards, man. I mean, let's start at the top with D'Angelo Russell, We got Austin Reeves. We got Max Christie, who apparently is about to have a heck of a year based on everything we're hearing and the coaches speaking highly of him and vice versa. And the fact that they fired the last coach, period, and because he didn't play this. One of the reasons was because he didn't play this young kid. So that's three right off the top. And then obviously you got the Jalen Hushafinos, who knows if he'll get any playing time. Maxwell Lewis, now that's debatable if you see him as a wing or as a guard. But again, the list goes on and on. We got too many guards. We got more than 5, that's for sure. And as much as I like him, I don't see him as a fit unless we trade away Dtlf for a big and then we need another guard. And we can maybe scoop them up if we do a 2-for-1 type trade and clear up a roster slot. But we'll see. The Suns would be a decent pickup, but then again, they're picking up everybody over there, bro. I mean, they did give a shot to Isaiah Thomas, so I say why not give a shot to Derrick Rose? Don't like the Suns, but I would be happy for him personally. But thank you so much, Kimiko. Appreciate the love and support. You're the best. Any updates on that Loco dude? Yeah, Christian Coloco apparently feels really well. He's just waiting for clearance. Right from the NBA and from the medical staff in order to be able to play. But the Lakers must see that he's close to returning. I doubt they just, cut a guy like Blake Heinsohn, who had a lot of talent as far as three-point shooting and something we could use. And, they did it for somebody who's not going to play. So they must know something that we don't. He might be around the corner and maybe they give him a couple of weeks before he, as a timetable before they can clear him. Who knows what it is? But I'm excited to see if he does get PT, especially if he could get, cleared in time for the preseason. That would be kind of exciting. Hey, Ash, what's up, my guy? My guy's in Peru. I see the picture, my guy, with the blankets. Nice, brother. Hey, shout out to you over there in Peru, man. Have a blast. Have a great time. Hopefully you're liking the new show, man. NBA Weekly, every Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so make sure you guys tap in. We're going to be recapping the previous weeks once the season starts, watching highlights, all that good stuff, man. I'm very excited for this segment. D Free, what's up, my brother? Good to see you, man. How you doing? We can use D Rose as one of our vets. We could definitely use D Rose. Problem is, again, we have way too many guards. That's the only problem I have with that. Now, if we do end up making some sort of a deal where multiple players get involved and we offload a couple of these guards, then I have no problem with that for sure. But it's kind of sad to see him get waived, and he's kind of become a journeyman since getting traded away from the Bulls. I mean, that's if you guys have not seen that his reaction to the trade, that's one of the saddest things I've ever seen, man. I really clutched at my heartstrings. And so, send him to the Clippers, not joking. To Indy or the Magic would be an ideal place for D Rose. I can see that. They have a lot of young players over there in Orlando who need to get kind of molded into the right type of guards. And there's some shifty ones over there, too, that he can maybe work with. So, absolutely. I can see that. He should join the Heat, but I don't know. Who knows? I can see the Lakers will not make any moves, and they will be running it back with the same roster. As of right now, yes, but who knows by the trade deadline. But as of right now, it looks that way. The new Raptors jerseys are fire. I haven't seen them yet. Have I? I don't think I've seen them yet. No. My guy, Darren Lewis, has said, big fan, Dan. One of my IE brother. What's up, man? He said, what is one question you would ask Rob Pelinka if you was the reporter for the week presser with JJ? Oh, that's a banger question, bro. I appreciate that. And we got to go hooping, man, if you're out here in the IE. One question I would ask Rob Pelinka is, why did he say last trade deadline that there was going to potentially be a move, since he didn't make a trade in the last trade deadline, there was going to be something that could happen this summer. And then also I would ask like a subsequent question to that would be like, are you happy with the current construct of the roster? Or are you still looking to improve? Are you really pursuing a trade, basically? Yeah, I would come with the heavy hitter questions, my brother. But hey, man, I'm glad, man, we got another awesome Laker fan out here in the IE, brother. But yeah, I mean, there's so many questions I would love to ask Robbie P, man, and if I had a chance, you better believe I'm asking them questions. You better believe it.
Thank you, God.
Thank you so much, Striker, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Got something special coming up as soon as the preseason starts, man, for everybody who super chats, man, and hopefully you guys will get excited for it. Also, just open up channel memberships. If you guys are interested in those, you'll get special stickers and tags to show your loyalty to Lakers and to myself, man. For a very small price. Just to help keep building on the channel and also to help you guys stand out amongst the crowd when we get these chats really full during the season. And that way I can read your comments first, guys, as I see them come down the pipeline. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. But Striker, I do appreciate you. That's a lot of love you always showing the channel. Hanson, what's up, my guy? Welcome. All right, let's go on to the next topic because, I don't think I'll get through this whole segment. We got a very busy first episode here of NBA Weekly. So seems like Andy Bailey is reporting that the Charlotte Hornets are the best landing spot for Julius Randle in an event that he no longer fits the system of the New York Knicks. Wow. All I'll say about that is they're already thinking about trading him, then it's probably going to happen because the season hasn't even started, and there's already doubt creeping into their minds, right? So you really got to look at the New York Knicks. Like, I actually think Randle would be a really solid fit, especially if they ever go small ball 5, right? Especially if they go small ball 5. And that Knicks roster is pretty stacked, and I'm a little shocked that they're already talking about trading him. I mean, look, this is the Knicks roster right here. I just pulled it up. You got Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. That's 6 rotation players. They got Tyler Kolek. I don't know who that is. Must be a rookie. Mitchell Robinson, who, by the way, I got some news. I got a news report for the Knicks fans on Mitchell Robinson. Is not good. Precious Achiuwa, who they brought back, another rotation piece. So that's 8 out of the 9 players that I just mentioned that could be key rotation regular season pieces, right? They got Miles McBride, who I liked last season, right? So that's 9. Cameron Payne, who we know he's a vet and he's a little annoying, but he's good. They got a squad over there, man. Again, so that they got at least 9 to 10 rotation players, and trading Julius Randle to me doesn't make sense. They don't need more depth. What they could use is another big man. Like I said, I got some news later on about Mitchell Robinson, but their roster to me right now is an A. I might not put the plus on it because they are missing another big man due to injuries to Mitchell Robinson, who's always hurt. But man, I like their team, and I'm really surprised that the New York Knicks are already looking to trades. Like that can't be good for chemistry and for the season, right? Random, what do you think is the best restaurant in the IE? Restaurant. So we're talking like a fast food joint or some fine dining. Oh man, I'm not good with names. I used to like P&G's. You remember P&G's Burgers and Fries? Used to be bomb. They used to sell some bomb chili cheese fries and some zucchini with the ranch dip and all that good stuff. But man, that's a tough one. There's this one place in downtown San Bernardino, yes, in the ghetto area, where I forgot what it's called, but they got a bunch. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you'll remember. Molly's, I think it's called Molly's Cafe or something like that. They got a bunch of like records hanging from the ceiling and stuff. It's very old school. I've taken my family on a couple of occasions there, and my girl on a couple of dates there. So that's a pretty cool place. You got any recommendations? Though? I'm all ears. Hey Dan, have you seen the Lakers in-season tournament court? Yes, it looks phenomenal. I'm very excited about it. It has the championship trophy on there. It looks great. But this year we're going to focus more on the regular season, the postseason, than the in-season tournament. Yeah, absolutely. Now, where was I? Let's see. It's clean. It has the Raptors doing VC's famous dunk. Ooh. Yeah, I got to see that. I haven't looked at it yet. I got to see that. Prediction on our Lakers, Dan, in our first 10 games. Prediction on the first 10 games, I will say, I'm sorry about my dogs. There must be somebody at the door. Prediction on the first 10 games, I think we're going to go 6-4. That's my immediate prediction. 6-4 has to be where we start. I feel like the first 4 games are going to be really tough, but then the next 6 kind of ease up a little bit. So I have us at 6-4 because we have a new coach. Now, if we lock in early, then we might go 7-3. I think when I did my whole entire schedule prediction, I think that was something like that I had predicted, man. D Free says there isn't really a right spot for him. I presume you're talking about Derrick Rose. He said, unless you specifically want a veteran and he was reluctant to play that role in Memphis, I think he still wants to be a rotation player, which he isn't. That's the problem, bro. That's the problem with a lot of these veterans who used to be superstars and at times MVPs, guys like Iverson, guys like Derrick Rose, etc., is that it's hard for them to really relinquish that role and become mentors as their game starts diminishing. And that's the sad part. It's sad to see a star who was once very beloved in the league have to be relegated to be getting slapped with labels like cancer in the locker room and stuff like that. It's just tough. And I hope that he, continues to play whatever role, whatever team needs from, because I want to see Derrick Rose be a part of a championship team. I want that for him. He's just a good dude, man, and I would love to see him, get up, man. Hey, what's up, CJ? Good to see you. Love the new addition to your channel. Thank you, bro. A lot of new content coming this season. That's why I've launched the memberships and all kinds of stuff and ways for you guys to support, because I will be giving you guys 110% of myself this season in NBA and Lakers coverage. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But I appreciate the compliment, my guy. All right, let's move on to the next topic of conversation, and that is the Chicago Bulls. They're a very intriguing team. I think it's a team that a lot of people are circling on their calendars for the trade deadline because they have pieces that could be valuable, right? They already obviously were no longer to retain the services of one DeMar DeRozan, so they had to, he had to go. And then on top of that, they still got Nick Vucevic. They got Zach LaVine, who they haven't been able to find a trade partner with, and all of that. So this one's about Zach LaVine and how apparently, according to Daniel Mayberry, who covers, I believe, the Chicago Bulls, said that Zach LaVine has vowed not to stunt the growth of the young players on the Chicago Bulls and is fully committed to the team's activities. And it also says in the offseason conversations with the Bulls leadership, including Coach Billy Donovan, LaVine has vowed not to overstep or stunt the development of younger players, according to a team source. So, it's going to be a tricky balance, for a player who likes to, handle the ball, score, play make, and all of that, create his own shots. But apparently, he's taking the first step by showing up. So that's good for him. But let's be honest, that is fool's gold. We know that at some point, either trade conversations or buyout conversations have to ramp up at some point. I'm not sure about buyout because he got a crazy contract, but man, something's got to give with Zach LaVine. And apparently, there's been some trade ideas here floated around already. The Warriors might be interested in him. What would a package deal look like? Well, let me go ahead and share the tab with you and show you what a package would have to look like to match Zach LaVine's contract. That's why I've never had interest in him to the Lakers as far as, he's not bought out, because Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, and 2 second-round picks. It doesn't sound bad for them but have you looked at those contracts that they have with Golden State? Those are atrocious contracts as well. So regardless, even a trade like this, it's not going to get them to wiggle out of anything. You know what I mean? Like even a trade like that is basically maybe you're getting more contracts that are actually usable for your team, but they're still in a similar, monetary situation. What teams like the Bulls are looking for is expiring contracts and stuff like that. So that's just a trade idea that was floated around right there by Bleacher Report. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on Zach LaVine? And do you guys think he'd be a good fit for the Lakers? I don't. But do you guys think that? Right? Let's see here. My guy D3 says, we would be smart to pursue a center. They're extremely thin there. Yeah, bro. We need one desperately. I know you guys over at Lakers Nation have covered that a lot. And we have over here as well, man. I'm telling you, if we don't get a center and Christian Coloco's not ready for the start of the season, and obviously, Christian Wood just had another knee surgery. We don't have, we don't have Vando either for front court depth. So essentially, is Jackson Hayes and a bunch of guards. I would throw up in my mouth if we have to go back to the small ball and a bunch of guards just running around with one center being LeBron James off the bench. Like, no, we don't want that. So that would be disgusting, man. Disgusting. Let's see. If you could have one previous player from the previous baby Lakers era, who would you think would fit the best on this current team? Bro, you coming with the heavy hitters, man. Those are A1 questions right there. On this team, I'll be honest with you. If we're just talking fit, not potential, just fit, strictly fit, it's got to be a wing like Kyle Kuzma or a guard like Josh Hart. If we're just talking strictly fit. Now, if you're going for talent, obviously, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, those kind of guys, Jordan Clarkson are might be a bit more talented. But if we're talking about strictly fit, you got to look at a defensive guard who can rebound. That would help us tremendously, like a Josh Hart. We had one in Alex Caruso, but we don't have him anymore. Or, like I said, Kyle Kuzma is kind of a perfect fit, a two-way guy who can do damage and just do crazy stuff, right, on both ends of the floor. And we're actually going to touch on that because Patrick Beverley actually made some sense. on his podcast. I just checked it out before going live, and I decided to add it to the show. So I'm gonna show you guys a clip in a bit. My pug is barking because he hears Bruce. My bad. So sorry about that, guys. Well, my family probably stepped out, and my dogs get antsy when they hear somebody at the door. So yeah, that's probably what happened. So my apologies for the barks earlier, but yeah, it'll happen once in a while. Thank you again, Kimiko, for posting all the links. Now, back to the whole situation there, right? With Zach LaVine, they're a very tricky situation over in Chicago because they have to rebuild. And I don't know who they're going to build around. Their best player, in my opinion, right now, as far as potential goes, is Kobe White. He's a really good player, but it's not like a franchise-changing, altering player. At least I don't think. Right? So, just food for thought. You know, everybody keep an eye out for the Bulls, and we'll move on to the next subject, which is exactly what I promised earlier, man. A small clip from Patrick Beverley's podcast. Right? So podcasts sometimes are interesting. Pat Bev usually, you know, he talks out the backside, but sometimes he speaks sense, and this is one of those rare occasions. Here it is.
Basketball player, but he's not the X factor to me.
Tell me why.
Actually, Rui, he a good basketball player, but he's not the X factor to me.
Tell me why.
Actually, you know what? He should be the X factor because he gets paid as an X factor should be. So yeah, fuck it. We go put him X factor.
And I'll be honest with you guys. I don't like it when people say he gets paid this amount, so he needs to be this type of player, because sometimes a player gets paid because you need him to stay or because he's a very good player, but for whatever reason he doesn't fit the same way he would on a rebuilding team, right? So it's intriguing what he's about to say here.
He needs to do more. He has to come in like, I'm the second option. His mindset has to be, yeah, it's AD here, it's LeBron here, it's Austin Reeves here, it's D'Lo here, but no, AD getting it, I'm the second option.
Now that part of his argument, I agree with. He does have to have that killer mindset because he is that good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he's the second option, because clearly we got AD and we got LeBron. We got other players there that are probably a little more consistent than him. But he does need to have that mindset. I agree with Pat.
Has to be his mindset, you know, because they do need that. What made him successful, that bubble year, Kyle Kuzma, a wing with size that can put the ball on the floor. And people used to clown Kyle Kuzma because he used to take some tough shots, but you need some balls like that, because the same shots you take in the regular season that look tough is the same shots you go take at the end of the game. Kuz would be 1 for 7, come down, shoot, has he 3, go in. Okay, 2 for 8, don't seem bad, get an and 1. Okay, 3 for 9, 33%, that don't feel bad. Okay, cool, hit another 3, 4 for 10. Next thing you know, you hit 2 more shots. You know, I'm 7 for 12. That ain't too bad. I don't think Rui, this past year and playing with him, I don't think he has attitude of I missed 7, the next one going in. So I think once he changes that, I think he changes him as a basketball player.
So he just aired him out completely. He mentioned the fact that he played alongside him, and he said he does need to develop more of a killer. I agree with that. But also, there's one thing I don't like about Rui. I love everything. I like his mid-range. I like his bully style. I like a lot of the things that Rui brings to the table. But one of the things that I don't like about Rui is when he gets tunnel vision. So that I won't agree with Pat, that he can just have a green light. But he does need to be more aggressive for sure. He kind of has to find a good balance. The one thing I hated about Rui last season was when you guys remember this, right? And I would always rage about it. He will come down the lane. He will get tunnel vision. It was sometimes like a 1 versus 2, and he would force the shot, miss the layup. Now they got transition numbers going back the other way. See, so those are the little things, the decision making he needs to improve in when it comes to that. But I do agree with Pat that he needs to have that mindset for sure. Let's see. Hey, what up, Tex? Good to see you, man. Of course, man. Hey, anything for the people, man. Anything for the people for sure, man. We got you. Not a bad package. I feel like the Bulls will want Kuminga in that package. Well, the Bulls don't really have a lot of say because they're trying to get off of that contract. It's a horrible contract. As you could tell, they're already worried about Zach LaVine coming in and kind of ruining their whole mojo with the young players, right? So they had to have a talk with him, which isn't good to start the season. What about Zubats? Zubats would have been a perfect fit as well. Problem with Zubats is he kind of disappears in the postseason. I've seen him. Maybe it's the coaching, I don't know, but he kind of disappears in the postseason. He's a good regular season player, but the times I've seen him play with the Clippers, I was rooting against them, right? Whenever they played Dallas or somebody, Zubats was kind of a non-factor. He got destroyed by the Derek Lively's of the world and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure if Zubats would actually fit us. He's more of a old school post up back to the basket guy. And even though I like those kind of players, he's not as mobile defensively at moving his feet and switching positions. So we need somebody who's a little bit more mobile, and that's what we get in the Christian Coloco types, on the team. Robert Horry. Hey, what up, KJ? Good to see you, my boy. Hart or Randle? Yeah, I think those two would be great fits. Mind you, people forget Julius Randle played alongside Anthony Davis, right? And when he did play alongside Anthony Davis, they actually looked pretty good with the Pelicans. Remember that season, right? When we cut Julius Randle because we needed to make space to sign LeBron. Remember that? And we basically cut Julius for nothing. I still don't agree with that. I don't understand what we were doing, just offloading him for nothing. He had some value. He was young. He was in his prime or entering his prime. But yeah, I will never understand why we couldn't get value for certain players in return. D3 says, for example, Rui is much more. And when that contract is done, the team is already in position where they're deciding on their next steps because LeBron will be gone and AD will be out of his prime. My bad. I call him AD. AD will be out of his prime. You're right about that. The Lakers definitely have to continue to strategize moving forward because, there's going to be a lot of cap space and stuff like that. And there's going to be pressure on the front office to make a move once LeBron James has retired. And are we going to rebuild around AD or are we going to start from scratch and AD is going to want out? There's a lot of question marks still. Most likely they're going to try to rebuild around AD, most likely. But we'll see. TBD, right? On it all. Oh, that was supposed to say the Knicks should pursue a center. But yeah, LA 2 facts. Yo, it's ironic you say that because I was talking to my good friend who's from New York earlier today. And he was making a joke about how the Knicks should trade Julius Randle for AD. But, he just likes to tease me. And they desperately need a center as well. And I'm going to get into that a little bit right now with the whole Mitchell Robinson situation. And Mitchell Robinson has been a great player for them, but he's been very hurt. And matter of fact, I'll jump into that now since we're talking about it. Mitchell Robinson is out until at least December as he continues to recover from his foot surgery. All right, that's the breaking news they got today. I know Knicks fans cannot be happy because he continues to get injured. Now they have to start thinking about moving off of him and trading for a more reliable and efficient, healthy center. Right. So I've always been a fan of Mitchell Robinson, but he can never stay on the court ever. Every year is a different injury and every year is a different issue with that kid, man. And it sucks, But you guys remember the draft video when I was really cheering for the Lakers to draft Mitchell Robinson? We ended up drafting Mo Wagner. Remember that? Oh, man. Good days, the good days. Yeah, I don't know about that take. Austin is getting paid less, and he's definitely the X factor on our team. I think the part I agree with Patrick Beverley on is that Rui has to have that mindset that he has to step up his game and try to become the second option and say, I'm talented enough to do it. Even though we know that's not going to happen because AD is always going to be the second option unless LeBron takes a step back this season, which I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But they're going to be 1A, 1B as long as they're on the same team. And then I agree with you that the third best player on the team and X factor and efficiency wise, playmaking and scoring is Austin Reeves for sure, and he's clutch. But Rui does have a lot of potential. We've seen it from the moment we traded for him. We knew it. I mean, those of us that have league pass and used to watch the Wizards, I don't know who would do that, but believe it or not, sometimes I'd make a selection on Prize Picks and I would tune in. Rui always had potential, but it always seemed like his potential is shelved, for somebody else. And they weren't patient enough for him. Will the Lakers be patient enough for him? He's already paid. He's under contract. So now will the Lakers be patient enough for him and let him come along? I think he's at the right age already where he should be producing, and start hitting his prime here. What is he, 25, 26 already? Yeah, definitely. Zubat is my answer for young Laker to come back. Really? Interesting. Okay. That's fair. For me, it would be Kyle Kuzma, or I like Julius, even though he's not the big we need. But yeah, Zubat would be up there for sure, but he's not my favorite. People forget Kuzma outplayed Michael Porter Jr. in 2020. I keep saying Kuzma's your daddy, MPJ in the playoffs. I remember that. And I kept telling people Kuzma's very important to our team. It's very unfortunate that, he was traded the way he was by some fans, not all fans, some fans. And then, he basically got traded after that. All right, switching topics here again. It is NBA Weekly. I want to bring up this little clip right here from a podcast. And this is my one of my favorite players, Donovan Mitchell. And this is what he had to say about his skill set.
realistically, I look at myself as one of the top 10, top 15 players in this league, but I haven't made it to a conference finals. So in order for me to make that jump, I can't sit here and get mad. I can sit here and get mad and use it as fuel, but I can't get mad at this because it's an accolade-based world we live in, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent.
For whatever reason.
It's just what it is.
Well, you know what? That's fair. Like the way he broke that down personally for me, that's fair. Like, he should feel like he's a top 10 or top 15 player in this league for sure, because he probably is. And we're just taking it skill wise. Like you're just taking his skill set. You know, he's up there for sure. He's top 20 for sure. But he hasn't accomplished anything in the playoffs, and that's why he's not going to be elevated. Same thing that happens to Paul George. You know, he's not really that accomplished. He had one lucky season when everybody in the West got injured, and they made a run to the Western Conference, but then he got it hurt there, right? So they're kind of in a similar position. Like I love Donovan Mitchell, but until he gets out of that second round and he does some damage, you can't really elevate him from his standings. Like, what do you guys think of that whole conversation? Because I find it interesting. I think this is a very common conversation we have where we don't separate skill set from actual productivity, right? Like we combine it. Like, okay, this is skill set, this is productivity. Now, what is he as a whole? What has he accomplished? And so, again, I agree with him. I think he's top 15 talent, but he's not top 15 on my list because, you know, the thing about Donovan Mitchell is he hasn't got it out second round yet. And I'm not saying that's his fault necessarily, but the great ones where he wants to be on that list elevate their team past a certain point, right? If not, you're just another Russell Westbrook, right? If not, you're just another non-winning player, even though Russell and KD got their team to the finals, but that's besides the point. What I mean is you get labeled as a certain type of player that just you put up great stats, you're fun to watch, but you don't really push your team past that limit, right? And so there's levels to this in the NBA, a lot of levels. I'll take a couple questions before we get to the couple of final subjects. Can they stretch LaVine and trade him? I think that new CBA is really complicated, man. I'm not sure if they can stretch and waive a player. You know, I think it stays on your books or something like that, unless you buy him out. But I'm not even sure what the rules are for that. Again, the new CBA is very complicated. They would have to trade him. They would have to, I think, they have to attach some sort of draft compensation in order to get him his contract off the books. He's one injury away from becoming just an injured guy for the rest of his career. You know, like every year it feels like there's something. Last year, a lot of Laker fans, including myself, was intrigued by trading for him, but then he got hurt again, and we just looked the other way and rolled our eyes, right? So that's unfortunate, but yeah, it's a contract that a lot of teams want to stay away from. Tech says, exactly, Dan, I love Rui's game, but he does need to play with more aggression and defense, especially. He needs to put more effort and discipline, especially on the defensive end. For me, it's not so much the aggression as the decision-making, when to be aggressive. He needs to know when it's time. You see LeBron James catching a breather and AD having an off night, that's when you got to go. You know, you kind of have to read. It's like reading the room, right? Like you don't want to say the wrong joke at the wrong time because it's going to piss somebody off. Same thing. I imagine playing alongside certain players, like you know, with the star power of the Lakers have with AD and LeBron, you have to kind of pick and choose your spots. Remember when I had Stanley Johnson on here, and he answered that question about how it felt playing with LeBron James. Asked him if it was challenging, and he almost got offended. He's like, no, not challenging at all. It's just different, right? You kind of have to figure it out. Something like along the lines. I don't want to paraphrase, but if you guys go back and check it out, man, he basically dropped some gems about how it was like to play alongside LeBron James, right? So, you know, it's not hard, but I imagine it's they have to figure it out. It is definitely a puzzle. To try to figure out how you fit in with the Lakers roster overall, right? I missed the first part of the comment where you talked about contracts. My bad, brother. Yeah, my bad if I missed your comment. He said, yeah, I think Zubac could be really good on this team because we don't need another mobile center because that's when you just put AD as center. That's an interesting point for sure. But can you imagine if you had another mobile center alongside Anthony Davis? Now you got two dogs out here roaming and switching multiple positions, and it just gives you that much more flexibility in the front court with the depth, right? So if one of your bigs gets beat off the dribble, you got the weak side help defender who can come over and swat them into oblivion. Now you got these players settling for contested mid-range or contested three-point shots, and that's where you want to keep them. You want to keep them at bay. One of the problems we had by playing AD at center was when, you know, he guards this guy tremendously, but it doesn't give him the freedom, especially because he guards the best big man on the opposite team. It doesn't give him the freedom to roam around and kind of patrol the paint like a free safety in football, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to unlock him and give him that roam ability. And Zubac could definitely help by guarding some bigs like the likes of Joel and obviously Jokic and guys like that. He could definitely give you some spot minutes there. But at the end of the day, we always revert back to putting AD there because he's the most mobile, athletic, defensive-minded, and strong combined in a center. If we can find a similar combination, but obviously on a lesser scale, I think that would be the perfect marriage. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid point. Zubac is definitely a big body, and you know, he definitely does some damage there. All right, let's move on to the next subject, man. Listen, if there's any Seattle Supersonic fans in here, because got some good news for you, man. Been hearing word of mouth is that the city of Seattle, Washington could soon see the return of the beloved Supersonics as the NBA appears poised for an expansion following the new media rights deal. It says here, the agreement, which will bring in over $76 billion from ESPN, NBC, and Amazon over the next 11 years, set the stage for the league's next big step. There's no secret that there's probably going to be an expansion in the year of 2026, 2027. And by then, LeBron will most likely be retired, and he wants to buy one of the franchises, one of the teams, most likely in Vegas. But seems like Seattle and Vegas are prime destinations to get two of the future expansion teams. And I want to ask you guys, as NBA fans, are you guys excited about Seattle getting their team back, or would you guys like to see a new city acquire a team? You know, a new city. Like I've heard Mexico City trying to get a team, become more international, right? I've heard so many different cities applying for one of these, but I do believe Seattle is definitely, listen, their fan base is always been loyal, and it was a shock that they got their team taken away when it happened, when OKC happened, you know. So I think the NBA owes Seattle that, man. I think they owe them a team back for sure, right? I'd love to know. It says here, Seattle Supersonics definitely need to come back. We need more of the West Coast attentions besides these California teams. Yeah, man, Seattle was a classic team, man. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, had Kevin Durant got drafted there. Like, come on now. Like, Seattle definitely had history, and they got a lot of great fans there as well. And it was just, it's a shame that their team got taken away when it did. But hey, man, good things always come to good people. And they waited, they've been patient, and they've been vying to get their team back, right? They're trying, man. So my guy says Seattle, I like the jerseys. The jerseys were cold, man. The jerseys were cold, not going to lie. Those were really badass. I agree. Seattle and Vegas will be big for the NBA history and market-wise. I'd love to see it. Also, there's rumors that they want to move a team to the East Coast. Do you guys think the Memphis Grizzlies should move to the East Coast? Like, you know, because we're going to have too many West Coast teams if certain teams are added, like the Vegas squad, right? Like, who do you guys think should move on over to the East Coast? My guy D-Free says LaVine has only had 2 real injuries in his career, and one occurred early in Minnesota. We roster several players that are hurt more often than him. So let me get this straight, D-Free. Do you think the Lakers should trade, not sign? I'm not gonna let you out easy. Should trade for Zach LaVine, and what would be your package? Since you vouch so well for Zach, I'm curious, or maybe you're just stating facts here. Not sure what you meant by that, but yeah, I'm curious, man. Would you trade for Zach LaVine, and what would be the package you would put together for Zach LaVine that you think is worth it? Like me personally, I like Zach. I think if he's healthy, he could definitely help move the needle at the guard position. But man, that contract is atrocious, man. That's the only thing. Unless they were able to trade and buy out somewhere, I just don't see, him being a Laker at all. Key West Arena. Kevin Durant can hold back go back to San Diego, to Seattle. Sorry, Seattle. My Grizzlies can come east. I think you mentioned this before, right? You definitely be vouching for the Grizzlies to come east. Yep. Yeah, that'll be exciting. By the way, next week, guys, on NBA Weekly, I will hit you guys with my way premature power rankings right before the preseason. I didn't want to do it this week because it's still early. Who knows? I still see moves happening, signings being made. who knows if the Lakers make something else happen. So I'm going to give them one more week before I do the final power rankings before the season starts. And that's coming up next Monday on NBA Weekly. So you guys stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe, man. Do not forget it. Pelicans and Grizzlies seem more realistic. You mean to go East Coast? Or what are we talking about here, Marcus? I want the Wolves to move east. Tough young team. They fit there. Man, you know what? You do have a point, man, because the Western Conference is extremely stacked, and we're talking about tough young teams, which is have so many of them. So, yeah, I agree. That would be definitely a candidate to go East Coast for sure. My guy says no to LaVine. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Unless by some miracle way he gets bought out or something where he just can sign as a free agent for the veterans minimum for 1 year, then heck yeah, I'd take LaVine in a heartbeat. I'm sure a lot of teams will be lined up for his potential if he stays healthy, right? What's good, man? He said, besides Las Vegas and Seattle, I hear New Mexico and possibly another team in Texas could come about. I've been hearing so many teams, bro. But I think Vegas is super realistic. Like that, just they already got the Vegas Raiders over there, and it's just Sin City is just a great place to host sports. You got all the gambling going on over there and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of perfect. And then I think Seattle, if they're only going to do 2-team expansion, which I hope so, because I don't want more than 32 teams in the NBA, at least not right now. Then I think those are the 2 cities for me, for sure. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of cities rumored and floated out there, man. I'm sure a lot of cities are going to want to throw their name in the hat. It's a money-making scheme for sure. Yeah, but at the end of the day, unless it's a star big, they will pretty much always end the game with AD at center. Yeah, I see that happen. I mean, the NBA has changed, whether we like it or not. It just becomes small ball league. It just has. It's become a small ball league. I just don't like it to be extremely small. And I'm talking about LeBron at the 5. Like that to me is, I can live with AD finishing games at the 5. I can't live with LeBron finishing games at the 5. That's just, you're risking a lot of things. You're risking injury. You're overexerting them, especially during the season, right? It's one thing if it's a situational thing in the NBA Finals or the the Western Conference Finals or something, and you just had to put them there. But I still don't want to see it, man. I don't, right? But yeah, I'm cool with AD finishing at the 5. I don't want him starting at the 5 though. That's just me personally. I want to preserve him, and I want to keep him out of foul trouble, and I want to keep him fresh, and I want him focused on the offensive end as well as the defensive end as a free safety, and not have to fully always, guard up front at all times, right? My guy said, Dan, how you feeling about Vando starting to get annoyed with him? I'm not annoyed with him because I love Vando, man. Only thing is I'm concerned about him. Like, I'm concerned that he'll become a player that's always hurt, and hopefully that's not the case. But I'm rooting for him to get back healthy. I think he's a crucial part to this season, especially if we don't make trades. I think Vando being healthy would be just as good as a trade because you have an X factor. You have somebody who can change the game up defensively for your team and definitely get you some game-winning defensive plays. People always they pretty much glorify the offensive end, hitting game-winning shots, and rightfully so. It's exciting to watch. But we also got to start glorifying game-winning defensive stops, right? Because there's a lot of those. We've seen AD do it over the years. We've seen LeBron come up with big blocks over the years. Vando, in his short stint with the Lakers, has had game defensive changing stops. Like when he locked up Luka. Who remembers that? The first year we got him. Locking up Luka right before the playoffs and stuff like that, right? So, Vando is the real deal. I seen what he did when he was in Boston the day he got hurt. He had changed the dynamic of that entire team. Everybody was ramped up. He's like an anchor. You guys remember the anchor badge on 2K? He's got it in real life, right? And he just spikes up everybody's intensity and defense, similar to what Draymond does for the Warriors. So I love having Vando on the team, and I hope we don't have to trade him or anything. But man, I wouldn't be surprised if his name starts getting floated out there because he's always getting hurt. So hopefully not. Memphis and Timberwolves gonna be good for a while. Might as well move them to the East. He said we need a break. Facts, bro. Big facts. Oh, this is a good one, Telly. I was hoping somebody asked this one. And I'm going to drop them on the power rankings and talk more about them next week. But how much better are the Spurs going to be to you? I think the Spurs have a chance to make the play-in tournament. I think so. I think, this experience that Wemby got last season, obviously being the unanimous rookie of the year, and then going overseas to the Olympics and balling out the way he did, leading his team to the final to play against Team USA and being so close, his confidence is gonna be through the roof. It already was. He's always been a confident young man. He added some muscle, and they added some vets on the San Antonio Spurs, guys like Chris Paul, obviously. So that's gonna help them out. So I can see them fighting for that, 10th to 9th seed. I doubt there'll be a top 8 seed still, but they have some young players. Depending on how much of a leap those young players make, then we'll go from there. I do like the point guard they drafted. Forgot his name already, but once he starts playing, I think they'll remember his name. If Chris Paul can truly mentor him and take him under his wing, that guy's going to be a problem for sure, man. So yeah, like I said, I can see them fighting for the number 10 and 9 seed. They still, to me, 1 year early, unless they make a trade and improve the roster. But yeah, that's my prediction on them. Dan Christian Coloco is in a lot of these workout videos against other NBA centers playing good defense. He's got a ton of potential. I was excited when we acquired him just based off the potential. You're really losing nothing when you put him on a 2-way contract. The only thing is, can he be cleared? That's all. That's the only question mark. Can he be cleared to play, right? So we'll see if he does get cleared soon, and hopefully we'll get him in there. My guy said, yeah, so on the LaVine thing, scroll back up, and that was the comment that you missed. It was a 2-parter comment. Personally, I don't care who they give up as long as it's not AR. So you would trade. For Zach LaVine. Interesting. Okay. Eesh. Let's see if I find it, bro. I don't promise anything. But yeah, damn. Yeah, I feel you on the whole, don't care unless they hold on to Austin Reeves, but I also don't want to trade for LaVine if we have to give up guys like Vando and Rui and Max Christie, right? So yeah, I agree to disagree with you on that one, only because I like LaVine, but I don't want to give up too much depth for a guy who may or may not get hurt, right? So, but let's see if I find the comment you're talking about, D-Free. I only see the 2 injury one. How come I don't see the other one? Let's see. That's weird. Yeah, I don't see your. Yeah, I don't see the second one, brother. He said, and that's why I mentioned that in a few years, when the contract is done, it's not a big deal because LeBron is gone, and AD is probably out of his prime, so you get a star for this era. Okay. He said, it's going to be the Grizzlies or Timberwolves. I'm hoping it's the Timberwolves that goes east. Bro, the Timberwolves go east. We are going to start doing the Crip walk over here, man, because my God, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that much of a threat going out east? The East is going to get tougher if that happens, right? So, yeah, I would love that to happen as well, man. Hopefully. Let's see. I'll take a couple more questions before I get off of here, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. NBA Weekly, man, will be coming to you guys. Very excited. Did a new intro, all of that, man. Every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So remember that, guys. Memberships are now available as well. If you guys want to stand out in the chats when the season starts, you will get your own personalized stickers and tags and GIFs, right, as they call them, that you'll get to use. It says, by the way, you may also get an asset back like a pick. Now that changes everything. If we can get picks, I'm all ears, man. If we can get picks, I'm all ears. I'm listening, right? Absolutely, man. He said, at first I was like, nah, but when you really lay it out, it's pretty easy to talk yourself into it. There really isn't a downside. Well, the downside would be giving up depth that you need to compete this season. If he gets hurt, now you got to piss off LeBron. Now you got to piss off AD. You know what I mean? We don't want. I think the Lakers have to learn their lesson about the Russell Westbrook trade. You don't want to give up assets that are going to go ball out somewhere else, and then you're stuck with an injured player, right? Or like in Westbrook's situation, you're stuck with a player with bad chemistry that didn't fit, right? Not saying Zach wouldn't fit, but just the injury do concern me. He hasn't really finished the season like that in the last couple of years, right? So, and how do I know this? Obviously, because I picked him up in a couple of fantasy draft leagues late in the rounds, right? So all of that good stuff, man. Yeah. On the injury prone, I agree. He said, I think Trevor Lane said Coloco can only play 50 games under the 2-way contract. Yeah, every 2-way contract player can only play a certain amount of games. But if they like him, that's not going to be a problem because they could then trade somebody away, attach a second-round pick to somebody like a Cam Reddish, and then perm your boy up, you know what I'm saying? Like make him a permanent if they really like him. I'm sure it will be no problem. Right now, it's a short-term fix because obviously we have injuries, And so they acquired this man as a short-term fix. Hopefully it becomes a long-term fix, man. Hopefully. We'll see. Y'all sub to your boy. Appreciate you, KJ. Kimiko says, follow Dtlf on the second channel, Primetime TV. Appreciate you, Kimiko. All right, y'all, let's wrap it up for me and NBA Weekly for this week. Again, next week, again on Monday, it's coming back. Again, NBA season is upon us, so a tremendous amount of content is coming. So if you guys want to support the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, join the memberships, all that good stuff, man. And definitely try out promo code DTLF on Prize Picks, because that's where it's at for daily fantasy sports. They have plenty of promos. They have plenty of giveaways. They have plenty of free entries and stuff like that. So you guys want to get in right now. If you deposit $10 with my promo code, you get $50 back instantly after your first $10 play. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. And I will see you guys on the next one. All right. You guys take it easy, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Peace out.